All right. Thank you guys. We're gonna let some people tune in, let some people click on and get going. Cool. Let's get set up here for the first YouTube live. I see a couple people tuned in, so thank you for being here. And guys, we're gonna go at least an hour today. I think I have some coaching calls that I'll have to adjust my schedule going forward. Got some Subto coaching calls I got to hit to probably right after about an hour or so. So we'll go into some all things Dealsauce, and what we'll end up doing is trying to get some questions from any of the audience that might be out there. Let's see if we can get some streaming here. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook might be having a problem, but that's all right. We'll deal with that later. What up, Robert? All right. So Robert, like anything, I'll talk to you because you made a comment. So what's going on? And I would say anything, you got any questions, any concerns, anything for Dealsauce that you're running into, even if you want to find a different strategy or a market or a region and want to explore something, questions on private money lending, questions on different aspects. So maybe some things that, you're seeing out in the marketplace that you want to explore, we can go into those things. So, and what I'm going to do, I'll probably kick this off. We're going to share some things inside of the latest thing, like what's the latest right now. And guys, this is evergreen too. So be mindful of, we're recording this here. So what we're exploring, what we're talking about, what we're doing, other people are going to see in the future too. So that's the cool thing about this. All right, let's stand up for this one. So let me get set up, guys. As far as I just made a PDF on Dealsauce on some of the updates. So let me log in. I'm going to share my screen. And we'll go through some of the things that actually, this was a meeting just yesterday, that we are, pushing some of the newest developments right to the forefront. And let's go bring that up. All right. Let's go right here, Dealsauce. I think this is it. All right. Cool. Let me go over here. I'm going to share my whole screen for you guys. All right. So let's go Dealsauce. We'll go entire screen. We'll share that on here, guys. All right, Dealsauce is up. Let's see if we can also chime in on this. We'll get this PDF up, guys. Hold on a second. Yowzer. I'm going to present. All right, we'll bring it over there. We got some latest features on here, guys. So bear with me. I'm going to bring up some of these, some of the things I wanted to talk about. So be sure, if you guys are in Dealsauce or not, we want to make sure you're always staying up to date and up to snuff with the latest videos here. So I think, they're going to be pretty comprehensive. It's going to get over. What we don't want to do is make it over, complicated here. And we want to get you guys right to the nitty gritty and right to the point. So some of these things you might even see being readdressed, thought up. I mean, the first probably 5 videos or so, gosh, I couldn't even tell you what I was probably saying on those. Because, we're brand new inside of the tutorials. Things have changed and progressed so far forward. So they're always going to be changing. And actually, on top of that point, I want to make it very clear that, yeah, we are, they're going to be changing some of the interface. Some of the interface on this is going to be changing. So it's going to look a lot better. Some of the features, they're not going anywhere, but we're going to be changing some things up. So then I was thinking yesterday, like, oh, I'm going to end up having to put this, redo these videos again. And Robert, like I said, anything you got, bro, by all means, guys out in YouTube, welcome. I can see you guys are piling in, some people coming through. Ask away. I'm going to get you guys some information here. If I can just get my stuff together. Come on, here it is. All right. So guys, check it out. This is what I was trying to share with you. So welcome again. Justin Tuminowski here, Dealsauce. Blessed to be here. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to do this every Thursday, noontime East Coast. We're going to keep it flexible too. So, if there's a time that I notice that might be working better, maybe we'll gravitate to a different time. But right now, noontime Thursday is pretty straightforward. And for my West Coast friends, you guys are just getting your days going. Great. Welcome. Good morning. Some of us over here on the East Coast just hit noontime. But yesterday, the latest, I'm not really an integrator, guys. Imagine this. You go from a visionary, come into this software. It's just like vision, vision, vision. Throw what pacemorby wants, Jamil Damji, try to execute. And then next thing you know, you're making PDFs and like being a good boy. So this is very rare, but I feel so lucky to be here. And so I take this software so serious and I want to make it the best for everybody doing in real estate investment, right? If we're going to be investing, we're going to be doing deals together. We want multifamily. All right, right on. So we want to do good stuff. We want this to be the best. So what's coming down the pike? Heat maps. And this is from the dev team, guys. This is from, the dev team, data providers, the whole thing. Heat maps. We're going to start off with like LTV, give or take, having those around the country. Andrew, what up, dog? So heat maps are coming. Probably, guys, and what I've learned in the development space, timelines are, we can say it's a week. It might be 11 days. It might be 7. So just take these as you'll see the progress come through. I just want to be transparent with everybody, but I also want to hype everybody up to be excited for what is to come. Because I think that's the cool thing here is like transparency is key. You're going to go to these hedge fund owned other companies. They're not telling you jack squat. This is for us, by us. So anyway, heat maps, those are coming. Redesign of the user interface. Cool. It's going to be a little bit different. We wanted to manipulate it a little bit more. So again, you'll see some changes coming through. We'll make videos on those. Also, you'll see residential leads, residential lead investor leads, commercial and investor leads. That there's just going to be, we're just dividing some of the stuff up just a little bit more clean. Nothing will change inside of the data, just dividing it up a little bit just to separate some things. Save searches, prior history. I had a problem. I'm like, guys, I go across the country, like when my boy Andrew's at McGuire out in Arizona, and it's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. What happened here? So you get these like weird addresses that pop up. They're long addresses and I forget them. So what spawned that is I'm like, yeah, we need to get save searches so we can search, find it really quickly. And then we're going to do like the top 5 you're going to get in your saved history of searches. And then next thing you know, you can go expand that down to what you've searched in the last, I don't know, whatever week. So I know I've run into properties where I'm like, oh man, that thing's back online again, or that thing's back, on the table. So that's going to be pretty dope. It's just something so simple and that's the thing is like these simple things we want. We just go, hey, I want it. Let's do it. And that's the cool part about this. And we just have to figure out where on the list it's going to go up for the dev team. So they're so gracious and they're so good to us. AI, guys, AI matching, that's coming too. I've already seen a little bit of it, but they're going to literally take a wholesale deal and find the buyer for it and match it with a percentage. So the known buyer pool, wholesale deals, they're going to match them and marry them. So something else that's going to be coming down the pike too. So really cool stuff there. And then listen, I wanted to tell you guys what I'm after and some of the things that, I'm putting out there. Now my list is over 100 items on it right now, and it's always growing. But again, transparency is key for me, for everybody in here. Again, I think that's the number one. I think that's going to make this the best is, hearing my boys, hearing my people out there and all of our friends, collaborators, and then also being able to talk about what we want. So searching for double closes, tighter searches for recorded docs. How dope is that? I don't know anyone who's doing that right now. They could be. I don't know every software out there. All I know is like, we're going to worry about ourselves and worry about what we want and how to be the best. So double closes, let's find out how to get those recordings. Furthermore, I want to find out if someone put a memorandum on a property. I want to be able to search other than just a lender doc, a pre-foreclosure, notice of default, list pendants. We want to find out some other documents. Give me a drop-down menu. Let me drop down and see, like, can I search memo, MEMO? or a notice, and let's see what else comes up. I think that's going to be pretty, I think that's going to be pretty dope. And I think that a lot of people are going to end up following suit from that. Finding fix and flip properties, we already can. However, I wanted to go like, just give me the ones that have the before and after photos. Some of us want to just get right to the meat and potatoes. If there's an abundance of comps, let me see the ones that are the best with the photos so I can actually make a better judgment. So we're going to have some of that coming, a little bit more of that coming. Commercial side, I want to see active on market on the commercial side. That I think is already there or very close to being there. Upload list, ability to filter through list tabs on the CSV file. So they were like, dude, is that what you're asking for? You really care about that? I'm like, yes, I do care about that. So that would mean, guys, uploading a list. I want to take a driving for dollars list. I want to take, I don't give a crap what list it is. We want to take a list, upload it, filter it, manipulate it, stack it, aggregate the data to the best. If it's, if we have 500 leads, 500 prospects, I want to see the top of that heap of 500 so I can work on those first. That's all this is. But some of us have CSV files and we have different tabs on those Excel files. Right now, I want to be able to manipulate which tab we want to hit. So that's all that means. Better rental data, MLS data. We have it all. We have all that data. But what happens, and I noticed in PropStream, they were even doing this, you were getting properties that they said it was for sale and it was a rental, and vice versa. And it's sometimes it's hard to, you can't get 100% on everything. That is without a doubt. However, I want to get better rental data. We used to have AirDNA right in there. We're going to try to bring some of these things back. AirDNA actually, I think they are the reason why we don't have that in there. But that's a different conversation piece. But yeah, just better rental data. So we're going to work on that. And then furthermore, we're going to go into Dispo, KPIs. So some of you guys asked, and I'll wrap this up in just a couple seconds, guys. So a couple of us asked about posting of deals, posting on wholesale deals. So take a look at the screen right here. You can see what I'm talking about on the bottom right-hand side. And then I'm going to move away from the screen to actually show you what we're talking about. And we're talking about wholesale deals, buyers. What does that look like for who's the audience? What up, CJ? And we're going to talk about the audience, looking at your deals, how to track your buyers, and we're going to have a goal high level. So let me go over to the Dealsauce here. 1 second, guys. Let me switch. What up, CJ? Let's do this here. Share screen, Dealsauce. This window. All right. So let's go for it. We're going to talk about the wholesale deals that I wanted to mention because some of you guys might not know what I'm talking about. Florida, we'll just go there. Boom. So right-hand side, let me bring you guys up, make sure I can see everybody. Get some comments in here. Owners of multiple properties, yes. Let me do this. Crazy screens. Guys, it's I'm using StreamYard, and for me, it's a little challenging. It's not as easy with the screens, but I'll get you going right here. There we go. All right, much better. So first of all, I just want to talk about, I'll finish the recap on what's coming down the pike. So these are your wholesale deals. I call these the sponsored ads. You go on Amazon, you go buy a product, you buy like toothpaste or something, and it's like, you get the top ones that are sponsored. That's what this is. These are people's deals. We have 75,000 accounts, 75,000 users, investors looking at these prospects, looking at these wholesale deals. There's about 300,000 active users. However, that number is a little bit ambiguous. I just want to be letting you guys know, because when I say 300,000 people there's how many eyeballs are on here, it's when we have like Dealsauce. You have team members in there. So it's counting the team members as well. And those come and go. So I just want to make that very clear, but that's posting of the deals. We're going to get a lot fine-tuned in here also. And this is where they're going to marry you with a potential buyer. And I think we're going to be doing a lot more work in that side of that realm too, is where we're going to have recommended buyers. Like, I want to be in I buy in New England and New Hampshire, creative finance all day long. I want to be the first person someone calls when they have a deal. So I hope it marries me to a deal. So that's the latest on that. And then Go High Level is another feature we're bringing inside of here. Stay tuned for that. And that, I'm going to wrap up I guess, the housekeeping for Dealsauce on what's to come. There's a bunch more coming, but that was yesterday's conversation. I felt you guys might want to hear that. All right, CJ, what up, dog? And let's get into the memo search. Will be pretty dope. It will be. Yes. So now we want to look at showing owners have multiple properties. Funny little update we're have on that one too coming. We are going to have a little icon. I can't tell you where the icon's going to be, but I requested to have an icon somewhere in this bar to be like, I'm guessing like a blue house. And that would indicate if you have multiple properties or not. So a couple tricks to get around this. Now, inside of the software, guys, one thing is, of course, you would have to know the LLC or a business owner's name, right? So we'd have to have like 1630 Double Eagle. Let's see if something pops up here. Yeah, that's a property I own. Only because I knew the name of in Florida of what it was. So if I had multiple properties at this mailing address, you would bring up my house. But you can see here, there's 474 properties. It says under my address, under my property, because the mailing address for my trust that I have in this property is the trust is the person who holds the whole trust account. So all the trusts are funneled through there. So you will get some of these weird ones. We are actively working to mitigate that. It's really hard to mitigate an address that's not a PO box or a UPS store. You have to know that, all right, this address right here is a trust company who holds the address for all the trusts. If that makes any sense to anybody out there. So I just want to make it very clear that like you will get you have to know what you're looking at to some degree, but that you would be able to search an LLCs or a person. You can come in here and type in, we can go RV. I know this isn't what you're asking me, but I just want to show you some different tricks. Because this might bring up RV parks that just have the word RV in the name. So I think that's a really, really neat feature that other than searching someone's mailing address, because that's what 99% of the people do out there. That's what like PropStream will use your mailing address to find out how many properties or how many investors are tied to that one mailing address. And that's an assumption that you're getting the investors like that's the rest of the stuff they own. Just like a case in point, I just showed you with my Naples property, the mailing address is to a trust. The trust company owns a bunch of trusts. So, but in comparison now you can reverse that and go, anyone who has the word RV in their name, you can get a hold of. Again, not the question we're after, but just a little bit of a side note on that. So what we want to do is we're going to dive deeper into this. Where we really excel and get that information is in our investor bundles. So for those who don't have or didn't squat up and they don't have the higher tier, my apologies on that. That's where we aggregated the data to give you the landlord data to get you what you needed. So it's, again, we were talking about Florida. We can just do Naples and then hit landlord. And this actually one, landlords takes the most amount of time because there's usually the most amount of I don't know, files, addresses, accounts. So when this comes through, you're going to get a ton. And it's going to be all the investors who have properties. That is the streamline to that. And then you're going to get a list of their properties and you can dive deep into them that way. So there's a number of ways of getting to this and we'll keep exploring. Oop, I didn't mean to hit that. Someone put leads in my bucket. So let's do this. This could be a me thing, guys, streaming. Go into find and fix and flippers. What up, Kate? Hey, Kate, I owe you a response. I think you and I was still talking, but I haven't looked at my phone. There's probably 40 messages in there that I haven't responded to. But good to see you in here always. We got Florida coming in hot over there. All right, we're gonna go Naples. Talk about Florida landlords. Let's see what we can get for files. But guys, you can see I'm in the flipper section. This is the investor leads bundle. This is a different tier. Yeah, that's definitely a number that I just saw will go crazy. So we're in a different tier here. This is above and beyond. So it's not part of your basic subscription. I just want to make that very clear. But I also, if you guys have heard me before, screaming from the rooftops, please, please, please don't worry about being in here. You can get your first 5, 10, 15, 30 deals. I don't care how many deals you do, just in your basic subscription of Dealsauce. Make that very clear. This is where if you're actively investing, having a ton of deals, you want to find money. So we have the private money lenders, we have the note holders, landlords, and then the fix and flippers, which fix and flippers, you can go bring your wholesale deals to, but don't forget, you can also ask them if they need money. So if you're a lender and you're on the private money lending side and you're a gator and connectors and doing all those things, that's a great, asset class and essentially for individuals. If we're talking about people business, that's another, avatar to be after. So, but here we are for Naples, Florida with some landlords. So that's another way of getting to it. And then you can see like this portfolio is 321, 236. And then what we did here is we're getting more comprehensive in here. This is just the surface of what we can get, but we're getting better at fine tuning this data, guys. So then you can see the portfolio, you can see what they buy, what their average purchase price is, the average, and then you can go into their investments. So that is a better way of getting to, folks and individuals. But like I said, one of the tiers that's coming to answer that question, if you're in the basic subscription, you're going to be just in the residential side of things. I'm going to try to get everybody here with a little indication, indicator that indicates if the person has more than one property. So I hope that makes it very clear, because then what we can do is you can pull lists. And then when you come down the list, we can filter by that. We'll be able to aggregate the data by people who have multiple properties. So hope that helps. All right. So what else do we have going on here? So I'm going to get out of here. Any questions, guys, by all means. Some of you guys that tuned in, I see it's grew a little bit. Every Thursday, we're going to be here. Bring your questions, bring your concerns, bring your thoughts. We do lives inside of the Subto community, inside of the Subto and Gator community. I know this platform here is for everybody. I want everybody being able to have access to Dealsauce, see what we're doing, but also like collaborating on the side chats, collaborating everywhere else. Why not? Why not get in front of it? So yeah, guys, you have strategies you want to deploy, strategies you're concerned about, things you want to talk about, or hey, I don't know what to look for. How do I pull a list? How do I export a list? How do I skip trace? All that stuff, bring it in here. We want to do it. So actively right now, my team and I'll just go on to like what we're doing. So we're going to go into the residential leads again. This is going to be changing. And for all you guys who have just tuned in, we have some updates that are coming. So you can check this out like later on when this is inside of my YouTube. We'll go into the residential stuff. You can go active on market. Andrew McGuire was in here earlier. So they might be doing some active on market and they might do some low equity. So, and then guys, the coolest thing here is we can search multiple states. How rad is that? So let's say we wanted to go New Hampshire. We wanted to go Massachusetts. This is cool. And then we wanted to go like, I don't know, let's go like Connecticut. It's probably like, yeah, see, there's the filters need to be fine-tuned a little bit. So let's do something here. So we'll change it. I'm not going to do land, but we'll do some mobiles. We'll go individual only, guys, just for now. We can do your loan to value. So we can mess with that. We can also go with what's your mortgage rate, what's your desired interest rates. So if we're like, you know what? I only want to do 5.5 because I know I just signed, literally just got back from signing documents on a refinance on a seller finance deal that we cashed out, 6.75%. It hurt me. But that's the reality right now. So, we looking for 5.5 or under. Look at this, 111 of them. And we can go on and on and on. So low equity. So we're fine tuning, guys. We're stacking this list. We're actually aggregating this funnel. And I look at it as like a big gumball machine. And we're turning the knob. We put some quarters in it. And while I turn the knob, and like what spits out at the bottom, the gumballs that we're getting or the candy we're getting should be the best candy. So then just pick up the phone. There's no excuse. So right now, I want you to say like, all right, hey, I got a subscription, or hey, my friend, I just joined a team. My friend bought the subscription. They graciously added me to this platform, Dealsauce, because we give you the opportunity to have your team members in here for free. So again, not nickel and diming you. PropStream, all these other companies are charging $25 a seat. I think it's crazy. And that was one of the things that drove me absolutely bonkers. My virtual assistant, God love her, she was only coming in on like PropStream and pulling like some things for me. She could have just used my email address, but they like caught on to her using my email address. How silly is that? So whereas it wasn't even like we were on at the same time. We decided not to do that. So let's say you're on a team, doesn't cost you a dime. I hope you would have a cell phone. Maybe that's the only cost of entry here for you, because then you could pull this list. And then we have Brenda, the agent's information, phone number, like right here. So guys, there's no excuse why you can't get a deal. Now that's what I'm trying to always drive the point home. Furthermore, we're working on getting you guys even more information. I'd love to have skip tracing already included in here. You don't have to click a button. You don't do anything. You press the address, boom. We'll get you what we know about phone numbers and emails and all that stuff. No promises right now. I could just tell you that it's something that's being talked about, and we're actively working to make it that much better. So yeah, active on market, low equity, 5.5% interest rate. Let's go take a look at that. So right now it's saying that they have 2 open loans out, and they're saying one's 2.6 and one's 6.79. So it looks like they did a line of credit. I'm guessing they actually did buy this. And that's the one thing too, guys. Yeah, it said 2024 for 230. But I guess what you're going to get to is you're going to get some of this information where you have to dissect it. What we're pulling over is county data, but I can tell you right now, and I've been on this little mission to preach, and it's not a bad thing. It's an education piece where I know a lot of investors inside of, that I collaborated with and folks that I've come up with, they would look at the interest rate here at the 6.79 and they would think that that's the fact, but it isn't. And I didn't know that either. I was like, how do they get that number? What it is they base it on the time frame when the person bought, refinanced, or recorded that document. And it's about where the interest rate was at that time for that loan product. So if it was a line of credit, the line of credits might have been, at Christmas time, 6.79 on the average. So that's typically what they do. But yeah, decipher it, use it as enough to get you in the ballpark, and then have conversations with people and say like, oh, so catch me up to speed. Why can't you sell it? Or whatever the conversations need to be here. But yeah, I want to understand that you have all your information here to make and take action. Everything green. And then what we have is you'll have your wholesale scores, but guys, those will vary. And you'll see the retail scores zeroed out. Yesterday, we ended up having an issue with the AI scores. They were getting uploaded across the country, but there was an issue with like the file. I think it was corrupt or something. So yesterday, you guys may have seen the AI scores. They were zeroed out, but late last night, they got them back on. So, all right, that's one strategy right now. Coolest thing, like they did, we searched all 3 states. But let's say that you said, you know what, dude, hey, I want you to go up to like southern Maine because Portland is one of the hottest markets. We can actually draw a box up there. We can go into Vermont a little bit. We can go down a little bit, Poughkeepsie. Well, hey, we'll go down to Long Island. There's no barriers here. That's the dopest part. prop streams, 250 miles they allow you to go. 250 miles is like two of these blue boxes right here. So we just jacked this up to 166 listings. And again, filter it. Let's go by days on market. And then here's all your days on market, 2023. Some of them might be a little weird, keep in mind. But again, we want you guys to have the most data you can. Again, come on here. Michael, phone number, email. You don't like talking on the phone? Send Michael an email. Send him an LOI yourself. We have the ability to send LOIs from here. We are integrating LOI Blaster for all y'all out there who do the LOI Blasters. Keep in mind. Cheryl has a question. What up, Cheryl? I have a question of wholesale number you show. I have a property where there aren't any comps, but Dealsauce shows a wholesale amount. I'm just curious. Great. Cheryl, do you want to can you private message me? Maybe you can't. How can I get a private message from you? You have to like DM it to me, I think, unless you can do right directly to me. Unless you're comfortable with posting the address, or give me the town or give me the street and I'll just pick a property on the street if you want. And what we can do is we can bring it up as an exercise because, and just showing you here, the retail amount is giving it by, it's going off of what it knows for comps. So there could be 2 comps that it's pulling from a certain parameter. All right, cool. She might share it with us. So guys, it's going to pull a comp. So for this one, it has 756 for what it thinks. And the wholesale is typically about 65% of that retail number. Now, do I ever use those numbers? I don't. I use them as a rule of thumb. That's my preference. That's my thoughts. I just want to be very, very clear with that, guys. But I would say like we can go into the comps right here and it's just a click of a button and we can go see exactly what they're doing. All right, give me 1 second. Guys, I want to make sure you guys know, anyone who's out there who does not have Dealsauce, I'm going to throw up that forwarding because I think they're giving that. If you don't have Dealsauce, guys, I just want to, while I get into the comps, just want to let you know, direction from Pace 2-3 weeks ago, and I still don't think they actually put it in place. He was going to be pulling back out of the 2-week trial. And I think he was going to do like a 2-day or 3-day. I don't want to speak, things change, but I know the 2 weeks going to be going away pretty soon. So if you guys don't have it, sign up. All right. So we went to comps on this random New York property. And we can go filter by, of course, we can go by, sold, active, pending. Right now you can see there's a sold, active, and a pending in the same chart. So that's pretty cool. We can get rid of that stuff. And then we can expand. We only have 1 extra comp here. We can go, let's go on almost like an appraiser would do. Appraisals, if you don't have an appraisal in that market or appraiser doesn't have enough data for their appraisals, they have a rule that they go out to the next surrounding towns. And then if they don't have any in that one, they go to the next surrounding towns. So you are allowed, but Jamil Damji is the best at this. You can go last year. I mean, we can hone this down to the last 6 months, but again, we already saw what that looks like. So we're still struggling here, but I might go out a little bit deeper, or I might go look for alternatives with some bedroom counts. And I know this isn't a comping question, but all right. Thank you. Thanks, Shell. So we want to make sure that we're going to end up getting the right comp. So obviously it pulled in from before. Oh, I got rid of these. It's giving us some average. It will give us some averages. And I want to see more of these averages. What we want to try to get here, guys, is this. Watch this. So let's say that these are all comps. Everyone but the bottom one. It's going to average it out for us up here. Now that's the luxury of just being able to comp and pick and choose what you want. So you can go far and wide, look at the statistics, look at the stats here, align with what you need, and just give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If we don't like it, get rid of it. And your averages will jump up over here and they'll automatically adjust with you. But yeah, the wholesale number is typically 65% of the retail number, and the retail number comes from the comp section. Um, like just thinking out loud, it would be a cool idea to probably click the retail, and would that automatically give us the comps that it's reading? I don't know if we can do that, but it does, or almost just forward us to the comp page as well, almost like just a redirect. So I'm gonna write that down because that really could be something where it's like, hey, I want to know where you got that number from. So we'll go retail, click two comps or Y. So guys, that's the coolest thing about this. You know, literally run through it, get some ideas, write them on, put them on the chart, put them on our dashboard, and explore them with the developers. And it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next month, it might be in a year from now, but that might finally make it on as a feature. Coolest thing. All right. Well, Cheryl's getting that together, guys. Feel free to pipe in, talk about what you might need help with or exploring on Dealsauce. But what we just went through, multiple state search, then even more, we went into the polygon search, which is this feature here. No limits on mileage. I love that so much. I think we have 5 states as a limit. And guys, you have to understand, the bigger you go and the bigger the search is going to get, it's going to consume a lot of time and data, meaning it's going to bring up a lot of properties. So don't do it unless you have to. New England's small, so I like doing it. And I like actually drawing around the places that I want to invest in. But let's say that I wanted to change the strategy and we wanted to just go in here and freestyle. I like individual owners. What I really like right now is the newer features that we've had in here that we just put on a couple weeks ago. We can go expired. So we can hit the expireds, and even inside of the expireds is different MLSs and some agents do different things, right? So let's say you sold the property. Sometimes I've seen it. It's happened to one of my properties. They didn't hit sold. They hit withdrawn, or they've hit canceled. And that actually skews the data. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. We don't know. We're just getting what they told us. But I said, if we have the ability and they have the ability to control that, we want to have the ability to search that. So that's what that is. So those features just came out last week. Just a little bit more fine tuning, a little bit more finesse. So we can go expireds. And let's say we want expireds from, I don't know, let's go actually, we don't go backwards. I want to say like Thanksgiving-ish time, Black Friday to today. 993. And I'm going to say I'm going to get rid of the townhomes. We'll get rid of the condos, others, mobiles. Heck, we're going to just go with multifamily, see what comes up. And I don't care about the interest rate. 225. That's really digestible. So here we are with a cool little search feature that's multifamily in these 3 states. We told it what we wanted. They're expired listings. Now, are all of them going to be, when you call it, all of them going to be expired? No, you might get one that had that person who did not call it an expired. It actually sold, and the agent put, for whatever reason, that, maybe it says expired. Again, I had a property in Rhode Island down here. I bought it in like 5 months. It still said it was pending. So guys, crazy things happen. But yeah, but at the end of the day, you just want to be able to call. Again, boom, pick up the phone, reach out, email. Hey, well, actually, you don't even want to talk to them on an expired necessarily. You got the homeowners. So we got Francesca Silva. Yeah. And then just reach out. 80% loan to value, expired, listing price. The status changed to expired on 1/20/2025. Just a month ago today, expired. What's going on? You wanted 700,000. You have Manchester's a hot market too. It's really hot market. It's probably was one of, if CJ's still in here, he was like named one of top 10 or 20 in the country. Yeah, guys, expired listings, another source. Other things you can do, not even expired, years of ownership. Another one I love so much. We will not have age. Age is more of a discrimination, so you guys won't see that, and, we don't want you guys legally getting in trouble either. I know some of us like to tiptoe on the gray side of things, but, if you're searching by age, a little bit more profiling, a little bit more demographic. There's some We're skirting a law that, the data developers don't really want to mess with, but we can get you guys right in there with the years of ownership, and that's all you really need. All right, so those are some of the searches that we're doing up here. Some of our friends right now, Manch Vegas. All right. One of the things yesterday we were asking about, how to find more distressed properties. But one of the things I like to do, guys, in here is, another thing that CJ's on my team. So what up, CJ? One of the things we do is we upload driving for dollars lists, guys. Driving for deals, driving for dollars. Um, it's a feature I'd love to bring in here one day. Have an app that comes on here that we can accompany. But at the end of the day, you can upload any type of list that you have. I mentioned about it earlier when I started this Zoom or started this, you know, webinar, we'll call it, is uploading a file. And it's just a simple CSV file that's going to be in this format right here. Oh, no, never mind. It's just asking for the address, city, state, zip code. That's it. Upload it, it spits it back out, guys, and it's going to give you, just like you pulled some random city, it's going to give you, it's going to look just like this, except that I have all my filters on here. It'll spit something out just like this. Your file will be where the red box is, and it's going to go across the country. So if you had deals from Montana to Massachusetts, inside of that Excel file, CSV file, it's going to pop up. And it will remove some of the commercial stuff. It will, there might be some addresses that are unknown. That's fine. It's normal. But what it's going to give you is the same thing you got going on here. And I think that's pretty awesome. And then you can, again, aggregate it based on what you want. Hey, what's on market? What has sold? I haven't touched this list in a long time. And a lot of people don't do this. And I would recommend that you do build your own backyard list as a deal finder, as a deal, sourcer. You want to know your backyards no matter what, even if it's a red state, blue state, I don't care what state. There's always opportunities, whether it's a land, little beater house down the street, little mobile home, whatever it is, there's always opportunities. So you should know those, and you should write them down and put them somewhere. And an app like Driving for Dollars app would help. But what you would do there is the last sale date. So I haven't touched this list in 12 months. Let me see what's sold so I don't go after them. Right? I don't want someone who just fix and flip the house. So you can aggregate your data again, and you're just recycling it, refiltering it, refiltering, throwing it through the filter again. And I think that's some of the most powerful stuff that we don't talk about as deal sources. CJ, Driving for Dollars list has virtually been some of the best stuff we've ever done. But what we do is we take, again, Driving for Dollars, we filter it and combine it with Dealsauce, and we'll use the AI technology with that. And I actually had a list that was about very close to this. It was 2,000. We aggregated it by the wholesale score. And what we did was I ended up hitting the first 1,000. That was the best. And so I took the first 1,000 out of the scores. And then we only went after those. And then subsequently, if you get something that comes from that, guys, you can pay for your marketing maybe to go after the last 1,000 or do it again. So hope that makes some sense on some deal finding here. All right. So while we're on the AI, we can go into that a little bit, just kind of covering some topics and some bases. And again, ask questions if you have them, guys. I should bring up my Instagram because there's probably things in there. We won't worry about that. All right. AI technology. I had a question that came in from one of my friends. I don't know if Eric's even in here, but one of my friends earlier said something to me along the lines of, there were some questions, I think, regarding the retail score and the wholesale score. And folks were wondering why the wholesale score may be more than the retail, or the retail score should be, much lower. So if this was a high score, let's say that this was a 800 or 900 retail score. So what that means is, again, likely to sell at market price in the next 90 days. Indicates likelihood of the property selling at a market price within 90 days. Property with a high score, more likely to sell at market price. And then on the other side of 500, 499, 480, it's going to be less likely. It's going to be less likely to sell at, in the next 90 days. So we want to know when these people are going to be hot and ready to sell, just like a wholesale score. And this is going to be the same thing, likely to sell at a discount in 90 days. And then rental is to a landlord. How it aggregates this is no human intervention at all. And I actually have, the PDF with me right now, which I didn't plan, and I have it on here, and I'll bring it up on another episode or another week. But guys, what we're doing here is no human intervention. They're reading data points every single month, every month. And what they're doing is they're reading the people data. They're reading data all the way back to the 1980s, if it has the opportunity to, and what you're getting is just thousands and hundreds of thousands of data point from people moving in and out of an address, people moving in and out of, an area. So if it's a predominantly rental market, predominant renter landlord market area, even a section of town, that I think affects some of these scores as well. So again, it stems back to the question that my friend asked me earlier, and I actually never even gave him the answer yet. Why is the rental score sometimes different than the wholesale, and vice versa? And wouldn't you think they'd be very similar, or would one be a 0 and one be 100 or 1,000? And I disagree. What I want to say is that the wholesale score is going to go with a lot more predictive data, as far as like you might have more distress where you're like tax liens, pre-foreclosures. It's going to see all those things coming down the pike. It's going to see that you're missing payments, your credit cards, default, whatever it is, your credit score is in the trash can. And it's going to give you probably more of a likelihood, because you need to ditch out fast on a wholesale, opposed to the retail. You may have been in the property a long time. You may have some good equity. Although there could be some distress factors, the distress factors could be a longer runway, and it thinks you have a probable long runway. You don't have to sell in 30 days. You can sell in 6 months if it takes you 6 months or not, but you're probably going to sell, and I think that's what it means. So just want you guys to get a little back, the backside of the story is, and it's looking at the area. Is it a distressed area, distressed properties, or is it a affluent area that's a lot of retail only, and there's no cash deals going on or no wholesale deals going on over there? There's some other little metrics for that. So just want to give you paint a little picture for that, guys. All right. Let me get out of this screen here. Cool. All right. So we're going to keep going. There's Cheryl. Cheryl, give me 1 second while I bring this up. I'm not going to post it on here, but I'll put it right here. And guys, in the future, I'm going to probably also dish out a link where we can bring people up and come hang out or underwrite or do whatever we want to do. All right, we're going to Florida. Active on market, guys. Or try this one. I'll do this one for now, just to talk about what we have for a retail, if that's okay. Unless this one's bunk, just tell me on the side chat and I'll change it up. But active on market, we have 9 days, 244.9. We're going to try to get some history in here too, almost like Zillow, guys. So I want to see some history. If there was, if they put it on the market, took it off, put it on, took it off. I want to see some of those changes. Again, more things to come. You can see that the retail score is zeroed out because they did what it said it would do. They're on market. Wholesale is low. The rentals, there must be a rental market. Maybe there's a lot of rentals in here, so that's a good indicator. And this also could be a property that they do not. Yeah, look at, they have Bethel, Maine as a PO box. So it's also thinking that it's an investor landlord. Another indicator why it might be a higher score, or it's going to gravitate towards the retail score. Rental score, because they're an absentee owner. But all right, we were talking about owner financing available, rental 305. Our retail is 305, wholesale is 198. Why did it go there? Let's look at it. Let's go to comparables. This should be a plethora of data here. Yeah, here we go. Right away, it probably gave us 30. Oh, it gave us more than 30. We're going to try to limit how many it gives us, guys, because I don't want people getting overburdened and, too many comps to be overwhelmed by. Here, I'm going to change this up real quick. All right, a little better. Changing my screens. I'm going to remove active. I'm going to remove the pending because we have so many. Now, Cheryl, pipe in at any given time. Are you having a problem with the comping, or are you just wondering why the score came up? So what we're going to do here, we have a 2-2. We're going to go right for it because there's so many properties. Actually, I'm going to go. Oop. We're going to go. Hold on, guys. We're going right for the max 2-2. There's so many properties here, and we just want to hone in on it. The subject property happens to have a double lot. Not sure whether an offer price came from what it's comping against. Cheryl, I want to bring you up so bad. I'm going to give you a link. Can you come up? Do you want to come up on here? Let's hammer this out. We got a couple minutes. I just posted a link if you wanted to come on. Yeah, the lot size, it does. It's going to look at your lot size, of course. It's going to look at everything. It's going to give you the best. What we do is I think it's like I got to get the number. It's like 200 square feet above a square footage of the existing known property and 200 below. So I want to see both sides of that. But we're doing a swing of like 250 square foot. Same with the lots. You don't know if we've really honed in on all the lots. We're going to try to keep it very, very much similar. So guys, when Cheryl comes up, we'll present, we'll hang out, and we'll get it out of the horse's mouth. That's what I want to hear too. Because what I want to do is do a live example and get her the best information we can. So guys, while we wait for that, I just want to, every Thursday we're doing this, 12 noon, East Coast. I've said it once, said it again. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll do more of these. We'll probably do more than an hour. This happened so fast. Cheryl's coming on right now. But yeah, this came on. I'm going to change the schedule around. I'll free up some more time and I'll just hang out with you guys until no one wants to hang out. Cheryl, what's going on? Can you hear me? Oop, I'm going to unmute your mic. Oh, your mic isn't connected. It says.
Did that work?
Oh, there you are.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is a property that I couldn't figure out because I couldn't find any comps for this property, and I think essentially it was because it's not sitting on a double lot, and yeah, couldn't figure that one out.
So yeah, it's gonna be a rarity to find another one with a double lot, most likely, or you're gonna have to go combing through. Well, have you thought about just doing a single lot? What a single lot goes for? I have a deal myself going through this right this second. So would you think about breaking it up?
That's okay. Show me what you mean.
So I would go by just the comp itself. So is this actually the actual property or is it a different one?
No, that's the property.
Okay. So guys, for all intents and purposes, no one go after Charlottesdale, please. All right. let her go do her thing on her deal. So right now it's saying it's sold for 275. What are they asking for it?
244, I think.
Yeah. So really what we want to look at, we're giving you everything here. We're going through the square footage. It has the, 1464, and we're going to go see how it says like negative minus 336. Oh gosh, I'm getting all crazy with my mouse here. So I would comp this property. This is getting crazy for me. All right. I would comp this property based on a single family, just the way it sits. And then if we know it's a buildable lot or we know it has a double lot, I would look at of course, we want to go find a comparable. And we can do keyword searches here. So just so you know, we can do something along the lines inside of, the filters. And we can go in here and go property keywords. If you want to search this area, you can type in, bonus lot. Bonus lot. You could type in what's the other word I think you guys said it has a bone
Extra lot.
yeah,
Double lot.
double lot. We'll see if it all comes up.
Okay.
Now the only thing I want to make sure we do is you have to hit the done button. And then you could do that for your market. Now I reversed. What was that? Portugoto?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Punto.
Oh yeah, right here. Yep. And then we'll do active listing. So nothing right now has an indication that it potentially has those three things. Let me just see if it says, I wanted to put buildable lot. But this would be one of the first searches I do just to see if we have something that has those. And we don't do that enough, guys. I think this is a really cool strategy where we should be doing that anyway, just to see in a general market. Buildable lot, bonus. And find out what the verbiage is. Let's go backwards, but we can do this even more. Let's spread the search out. All right, so we're striking out with the words we're choosing, but I think cash, seller finance, I think was what the word that came up over there. Yeah, I have a search that's not because this is what I get for rushing. I'm sorry.
No apologies.
Watch this because I'm not putting on single family homes. I still have my old search.
There you go.
We'll go. This one says seller finance, but let me fine tune it a little bit more. So in this huge list here, we can do owner finance, seller finance. We have to choose our words, seller carry back. Who knows what that agent might use? But I would try that looking for the double lot. So that's the one tip I would do for this sake of, all intents and purposes here. I would have to slow it down, reset the filters, and I would do it properly, and we'll get everything in there. But let's say you didn't get it. I would still go back and find that property. I'd go single family, and then I'd go find a buildable lot. So we can do the same thing here, and I'll just get rid of single family, and we'll see if we can get some land. And we would have to really get into that neighborhood, and I'd hone in on that neighborhood. I'm literally going through something like this right now, Charlotte, in my neck of the woods. I looked at the property yesterday. It's a single family house, but they own a separately deeded lot right next door. And I'm just blending the two together. I'm looking at the two different comps.
Mm-hmm.
I understand there's some houses that have that bonus lot, but I actually would prefer the way I have it. But again, I might find that same property that has that extra buildable lot. And then I would just hone in the neighborhood. We can fine tune the lot sizes. So we already did land, and then we can go, hey, I want it to be more than minimum quarter acre. I don't know. So do you understand like what I want you like we'll fine tune it in?
So you're separating them as if they're two different searches. Is that what you're talking about?
I would do both, yeah. So if you struck out on finding, the keyword search on a deal, I would 100% stop the screen. So I would 100% do them independently, because what you're having there is, a single family house, and if it's a buildable lot and it says it's approved, great. The one challenge I find is agents will say like, do your own due diligence, and you can be going down the line thinking you have a buildable lot that's attached to this home, and all of a sudden you buy it, you purchase it. Next thing you know, the zoning changed, or the neighbor fights you on it because it's not already separately deeded. The hard work wasn't already done. So, I'd love to find the two different, because then you can use it as to your advantage. Like, these two are already done. This house came with this lot, or didn't, or I have a single lot, single house. The hard work's done. It's already separately deeded. I need to do all this work to get your property. So I'll use it as a negotiation tactic is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
But you're looking at comp.
Can you, my partner and I were just curious about how the offer numbers are coming up, just outside of this particular property.
Mhm.
When we're comping it ourselves, and then we look at the offer number that comes up for a wholesale number within Dealsauce, we're like, that's not really jiving, and we're trying to figure out why. Why is it that Dealsauce came up with this particular number?
So,
Number.
yeah, I want to get this. Let me bring this back up. Let me text Scott as my gentleman who I'm going to be hitting up in a second for a call. 1 second, guys. I'm going to push my coaching call. Hey, Scott, on a live, I want to finish this and then we'll be done, guys.
Oh, sorry, I'm holding you up.
No, we're good. We're good. Hey, Scott, on a Dealsauce live. I'll be a few minutes late. Appreciate you. All right. Scott, thank you, sir, if you're listening or watching. So, all right. I want to just bring it back up, this address, just to bring it back.
Because you could look at the second address too. I haven't looked at that property, the second address, but I just know that one of my partners couldn't find a comp on it.
All right. So 8723 Hickorywood Lane.
Let's see if Dealsauce comes up with something.
So we're active. 64 days on market. Agent information. We have 693. Wholesale 450. And the reason why we have a before and after, they're only bringing up the MLS right now, the two different MLS numbers. It's a little bit old. Not really digging that. Let me take a picture of this. So what is the number? Did you have a number in mind here?
I like I said, I haven't looked at this particular property. I just know that one of my partners, I sent him a message while we were talking, and I said, hey, shoot me one of the properties you couldn't get a comp on. And so he sent me those two. And I looked at the one on Wisteria, but I didn't look at the second one that I'm talking to you about. But I mean, aside from that, again, one of my partners and I were chatting about the fact that we're not fully understanding. I guess I have two questions going on. We're not fully understanding how Dealsauce comes up with an offer amount on some properties, because they don't seem to jive with our manual comping. And then on the other hand, the second question is, how come Dealsauce can find a comp on properties when in other websites, we absolutely can't find any comps? Or
Yeah.
why is it coming up with even if it's not even coming up with a comp, that's the other thing. It's not even coming up with any comps, but it's still giving me an offer price.
Yeah, it's going to go off of what they're also getting is and I'll get more data on this because I'm on a fact finding, just so you know, on a lot of things. Like I was going through the whole, if you posted a wholesale deal, how many eyeballs are on it? I want to know the statistics of that, the KPIs. So I'm going to get more on this, but a lot of where everyone gets a lot of the data from, there's like a couple just big data providers, meaning where do you get all the county information, all the public information? How do I get the bed bath counts? That's all sourced from one or very limited, big companies.
Okay.
And so we end up getting that data, and a lot of folks get their data from there. I mean, you'll get the data and you'll get it from all these other sources and you combine it. Sometimes what you'll get there is you'll get some of these numbers in there as well. So it's going to go off of, I want to see if it's comping other things that we don't know about, and it could be public records. And that's one thing we're working on right now. It's not just MLS, but it's public data,
Okay.
meaning just recorder's office. So I'll get something very, very soon for you for that, just to get a definitive answer on the retail. And I have that written down here. And it's
Okay.
like where and why. But for all intents and purposes, there should be no questions about getting comps here unless our numbers are off. I know you said you didn't do this property. You didn't comp it yet, but I would like to think that you're going to get very, very close on all your comping where we just looked on the last two examples. Now, if you're in my neck of the woods, that's where you're going to have problems. Middle of Tennessee or New Hampshire, you should not be running into big problems unless you're fine tuning your comping so ridiculously fine tuned, where then maybe we don't have a exact 3-2. I don't know the answer. What I would say is we need to bring examples. So when you guys run into some of these examples, shoot me a DM. I want to run it. I'll have the software developers run it, and I'll see like how we all do. And
Oh,
we'll
cool.
compare the notes.
I would love that.
Oh, for sure. I like that, to me, gets us better and stronger, because
Okay.
then you will be educated in it. And then if anyone has any questions, like you'll know it too. So that's the stuff I want to get down to the nitty gritty with. But for this, gosh, I want to go not even so far out. Now, like one thing I'm noticing right now, I should have a ring around here, and I don't have my ring.
I don't see your screen, by the way.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I have a habit of doing that too.
Same here.
So I came on here. I took that property, was on Hickory, and it's a 3-2. Last time it sold was 09. We're going with the rental estimate. We have square footage. So it's 1,700 square foot. We have some right here. That's a 10 foot square difference there. 400, 250, 130. Very much similar here. 3-2. This just sold in November. 64. This is probably almost the same house.
You don't have lot sizes on there, do you?
We do.
I can't see the screen because it's so tiny and I can't remember.
Sorry. Let me see if I can do this.
It's okay. And I have bad eyes, so.
Oh, no, I don't want to do that one. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I see lot size there. Yep. I mean, I just signed up for my 14-day free trial just a couple days ago, so I have not really spent a whole lot of time. I've just sort of played around a little bit.
And what we can do here, you can filter these by, of course, you can do the, high, descending and ascending. So lot size is there, but we can let's go by. Oh, I ruined that one that I just had. I meant to look at that one. I think there was a neighbor that sold. The one that was 10 square feet. 10 square feet difference.
So you think that some of the comps are coming from public records and not necessarily from like something we would find on Zillow?
Yeah. Yeah. There are public records we're going to get in there as well. And these are going to be just like the Zestimates. I've been in markets that, non-disclosure states is really where it gets different. I will say that different, meaning like non-disclosure states, they'll come, you're not supposed to talk about, like, we're not supposed to display what the property sold for. That's supposed to be non-disclosed. However, we will get the information and like we might manipulate the number by like $100, couple $100.
Mm,
So it's not the exact price, but it's very
yep.
close. There's instances there, but that's public record, public information. Like that's stuff that we have to go get and aggregate it. But yeah, you'll get off market sales, and we want to know about those.
So, how do you feel about, when I talk to buyers and they say, where are these? I don't have any comps for this.
Sure.
And I'm saying, yeah, but I've got them because I've got access to public records that you're not necessarily going to find. That kind of slows down the ability to sell a property because, I mean, let's just, you know, Dealsauce, that's fabulous that you guys give us information that not the average Joe can find. But then that also slows down the process in trying to sell it because our buyers aren't having access to that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be there's an education piece for sure on there. Or again, I don't know if you're going to your buyers or your sellers, excuse me, and going with them and saying, like, here's the comp site, here's how I got my proof. So that's a unique strategy. I don't know if you guys are you looking to comp also for retail to go on the retail market,
No, mm-mm,
but you're looking just for like to give cash offers.
to get cash offers.
Yeah. So I mean, I know my wholesale business. I can't tell you that I've had too many. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I haven't had too many people who are like, I had to go justify my price to. Typically, people are doing their own little research, and in their own little research is Zillow.
Yeah.
However, if you were able to print out 2 or 3 properties, and where you can do that here, where you get to download a report.
Hmm.
If you did like, hey, I got 8833, 8823, and I don't know this one. We could take those and download a report, and it will dress it up for you, and you would present that with them and be like, well, that's the reason why I'm here. That's why the reason why this is my house. This is my purchase max allowable cash offer for you. I have some stuff that like you didn't know,
Hmm.
this is why it's better than Zillow, or this is why I can combat this. So I look at it as a competitive advantage and an education piece where you might be able to get a lower price, but
Gotcha.
I understand your side of it. All I can say is that a lot of it should be here. If the comp isn't here, we can figure out why. And again, we can filter by, maybe it's pending, or maybe it's, I don't know, we have to just make sure this criteria is, you know, in check, because they might be looking at comps too that are not comps.
Right.
Your price should always be different from theirs 9 out of 10 times. Think about that too. It's like they're looking at the neighbor who sold its 2 extra bedrooms, 2 extra bathrooms, uh, 40 years newer, and they want that price. You really need to come, well, no, hold on here. Look, you know, this is where the cookie cutter house is the same house here. It's the same one. And I think that's an education piece.
Oh, I see. You're talking about to the seller of the home.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. But I'm also talking about buyers when we're assigning the property.
Okay. Oh, so you're talking about your buyers. I'm so sorry. So then that's
Yeah.
what I was like, man, you're combating your buyers, your sellers.
No, no.
Um, so, I mean, what buyer, gosh, unless they need you for their comps, or they're just looking for you to justify why you get your price.
Well, they won't even contact me necessarily if they can't find a comp. And so, I
Oh,
guess the
all
question
right.
would be if they can't find a comp in 5 seconds, they move on. They're like, "Nope, I'm not even interested."
Oh, yeah.
And
So
I'm
you
like,
want to,
"Oh, wait, I've got 3 comps that you don't have access to."
perfect.
So
Perfect.
maybe
Yeah,
I
here you
just
go.
show it to them and say, "Okay, here are the comps." Just include these in our, marketing strategy.
Yeah, because I want to generate a report now for that cash buyer, because yeah, you're going to do your own comping anyway to know where you get your pricing. Um, I always found that I never trusted a wholesaler's price, even though I was a wholesaler and we still wholesale deals. I'm not necessarily a wholesaler anymore, but like I never would trust any of those numbers. And
Right.
then, so they should be doing their own research. But yeah, if you can lead that horse to the water and say like, here, I'm giving you all the water you need.
Yeah.
It's all in these different cups. Here you go. Let's bring up this report right here. I just want to see what,
Oh, I like that idea.
and that's all I would do and that's my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm just looking to say, here's a comparable.
Uh-huh.
It gave us one. So is this the address we were going after?
I don't remember.
And then it's going to give us these three properties. Yeah. So here's the subject property: 8720 Hickory, 8720 Baycrest, and 8725 Thorn Lane. And then, this is enough to get dangerous. Again, we
Oh,
did a pretty good job here. The
yeah.
years are pretty similar. This one's probably going to be the closest. This is a 10 square foot difference. Same years.
Wow, that's
Look at the
super.
sale price. List price, sale price. This sold within the last couple, but this is listed right now at $699. Garage pool, fireplace garage. So, and then you can just you can accompany this too.
Does
Maybe
it does it do deductions for does it automatically do deductions for, like, let's say the subject property doesn't have a pool, but the comps do. Does it do the deductions automatically?
that is a good question. Let's take a look. I know we have the ability to remove some of those things. So where am I going
I
to
mean, if
get
those are the
that?
only comps for the subject, then you have to, be able to deduct that from your numbers.
So what I would do is then I would probably include, like, I didn't even pay attention to it if it had a pool or not or anything. But I would say, like, if we had a pool, of course we want to use that filter to add the pool, right? See if we can get like for like. And then if not, I mean, just like my broker who we're selling 2 deals with right now, they'll bring comps and be like, "Hey, this one has here's all the comps, but this one has this. I think this is why this one might be a little bit higher or a little bit lower." So does it do the deduction for us? I can't tell you that right now. I don't think it does, other than being able to manipulate it yourself. But I don't think there's a specific line item and a dollar amount for the pool, unless, here's the cool part, you brought this over to your portfolio, which we're not doing right now, but you sent this to the portfolio where it goes in the back of house where you do all your underwriting. In there, you can do all your assumptions, you can do your deductions, you can manipulate it till the cows come home on how you operate. Does that
Hmm.
make sense?
I'm not familiar with the portfolio section,
So
so
I'll give you a quick, but I want you to play around in here.
okay.
Let's say you brought that property over. This is a Durham, North Carolina property.
Okay.
Well, I gave you creative finance underwriting in here already. So at the bottom here, there's cash offer, creative offer, comps. Okay, but let's say you don't want to go into any like quick underwriting. I'm getting you into the property right now. So you're sitting in the property. We call this the back of house. It's the card.
Okay.
And what you can do in here is now start manipulating based on what the strategy is that you guys were underwriting against. Let's say it was a flip analysis. Again, my numbers are not all in here, but like you could come in here, Cheryl, and you can manipulate your closing costs, your hard fixed numbers for underwriting
Mhm.
based on what you guys expect to have. So you can always say, no, my closing costs are always 8%. And I'm always doing an acquisition, expense of 2 grand. But then, my rehab tiers, you can get in there. You can do all what we talked about and more
Mhm.
in here. This is where you can spend so much time. But if someone spends so much time and dialed their back of house in, their underwriting in, that's where you just bring properties in and it automatically does it for you.
Hmm.
So I gave you a quick, meat and potatoes explanation of this, but all this is we tried to what we wanted to attempt here is to underwrite properties on a lot faster scale. So people can go like bring 4 or 5 properties in, maybe more, and they can do it based off of all these different strategies. And these different strategies are going to be based off of what you told it to do. Hey, I'm a buy and hold investor. I expect X amount of cash flow per month. Okay, cool. Well, this one's like not exactly sexy for you because it's sitting in the orange, but the net cash flow is up here. Like, let's go dive into it based off your assumptions that you gave it. It's almost like your boilerplate, number that you want to run all your numbers off, your deals off of. But like maybe you don't do short term, maybe you don't do buy and holds, maybe you're just doing wholesale deals or wholetails or wholesales. But you do need to be aware of some repair costs. That's when you can go in there. There's a wholesale calculator. Why is it not up? We have a wholesale calculator. Cheryl, I don't know if that gave you any explanation, but what I'm trying to get at is like when you asked about the pool, I was like, you could definitely account for those things if you really wanted to get nitty gritty.
Yeah, I get that. And I appreciate the filters. I'm just curious if the only comps available have pools, for example, and the subject does not, will it automatically do a deduction?
I don't think so. It's a good question. I'm going to put pool deduct.
Or if the subject is a 2-2 and the comps are only 3 2s, does it do a deduction for
Yeah,
that?
no, well, let me find out.
Okay.
I know for myself, I would never even trust it anyway. What I would do is I would take into account, be like, hey, man, I got all these 3 2s. I'm not telling you what to do, but for myself, I would be, I'd look at this right here. And I'd be like, this says 0-0 right now because the county right now told us nothing about this property.
Mm.
But okay, let's say it's a multifamily. So let's say that it had, 2-2, but yeah, we're looking for 3 2s. I would go and see what all the averages were based on the comps. I'd use my calculator up here, this little averaging square. So I'd say this one, this one, this one, this one. Man, I only got all 2 1s, but I'm 2-2 or 3-2. But right now, my average per square foot's $13.49 on those, and the average sale price is $242. So, I would try to find a metric in there. Again, we can underwrite this a little bit deeper, but you're going to have to use what you have. That's all you can do, just like an appraiser can. That's how I always look at it. I'm like, I can only go off of what I know. But most likely, you're going to find something. You might have to go year, you might have to go more than 6 months. You might have to go out a little bit more in your search parameter. You might go 2 miles out. That's okay. But I'm going to look for that similar property, similar nature if there's no other choice.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can't tell you that I've run into so many examples that I've never found a comp. I just did a farmhouse in New Hampshire. Farmhouse, 5 acres farmhouse, 1700s. The appraiser's like, I don't even know what to do. But he went out to the next town, and they found similar like properties remodeled.
Wow.
And then they look at the market, they look at the trends, they look at the what it could get for rental income. They look at so many different approaches. So what you need to do is like, it's not like one cookie cutter. This is going to give you your magic pill answer. I know a lot of us want to think like that number's going to be a magic pill. I would never trust the number it gives us, but it will get you really close.
So if you're not trusting the number it's giving us, then the next step would be.
Well, I'm getting at is like, I wouldn't say like, oh, I'm just going to go off of like 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. I want to go bring these up. And then I'm going to go look into this property though, or this one right here. I want to go actually see for myself, what the heck does this look like?
Okay.
Because you might get these little skewed numbers. And you're like, why is this one driving it slow, but it's a comp? It's driving the number down. Well, I don't know. It's basic. It's a desert in the backyard. It has no pool. But yet it's priced like it does. I write myself would like, let's say they was pricing it like it had a pool. You're like, I don't get the comp. I don't understand this. I would do my own. I would lower the bar. I would accompany, like I wouldn't, if this sold for a big number and it wasn't checking out right now, and like, that doesn't make sense. I would say, like, I know enough to say, no, I'm going to actually lower this comp in my underwriting. There could have been someone who was desperate. I got to look at the market and the timing. If you're going back again, last night I underwrote a property. There was a property that skewed our numbers so far up. And I'm like, oh, it was panic 2023. It was a panic. I know there was some weird interest rates, but someone panicked. There was like a height and they bought this property and they overpaid for it because then the numbers drop down a little bit. But this person's using that the seller is using that number because it's the highest number in town.
Right.
But I look at the timing. I'm like, no, there was a hysteria going on, or there was a certain market factor. So you have to, like, those are the things that I'll manipulate myself. I'm like, no, I'm not using it. Just
Gotcha.
like, again, the piece of land. I know I'm rambling on now, but we're pricing the land at $140,000. Well, a neighbor just sold last year for 180. Why? I looked deeper and deeper and deeper. Their land actually looks at the lake.
Mm.
Our land is the same exact size, square footage, and everything because they all cut them up. Ours faces the street.
Yeah.
So it's like, but they go, I want 180. I'm like, you don't have a water. I'm not looking at the water.
Right. You got to use
Oh,
sense on
so
these.
So it was a $40,000 difference is what we shaved. So like, I don't know what that number would be for a discount. I'm going with a $50,000 difference.
Mhm.
So like, I don't have a comp to back that up. What I'm doing is just justifying it with, the person I'm dealing with. It doesn't give you the full fact. I know we're going to get a little bit deeper in this. I'll bring some homework back for you.
Okay.
Because I'm curious.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I appreciate your time coming on and like jumping on. And this is what it's all about. I want to try to break things so we can
Make it
like
better.
make it better and or figure it all out and just be like, oh yeah, this is why. So
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I look forward to getting some answers from
right
the
on.
next.
Right on. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Justin.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Cool. I am late for my next appointment. I hope he's not mad at me. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Every Thursday, we're going to be here, noontime East Coast time. We'll be doing more. We're still inside the Subto community, Gator community. We're there on Tuesdays. And for you guys that are wondering, what are we doing on here? If you're watching this in the future, tune in, check out the discount code. Hopefully it still works when you guys try it. I don't know if the 2 weeks will last forever. But guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Justin Tuminowski. You can find me at realestatejustin.com. And if you guys got deals, you got stuff in New England, you got deals across the country you guys need help with, just give me a shout. My team and I are on standby. Always willing to help. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Oh yeah, and be sure if you guys something you didn't get, if there's a question you have on for Dealsauce, check out my YouTube channel. This will be posted in there, but there's a lot more playlists and a lot more videos in there. They're going to be a lot shorter, smaller, less talking, and hopefully that helps you guys out. All right, I'll see you.